Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm featuring the Bunny Princess digital stamp by Rachelle Anne Miller on this adorable birthday card. I started by printing this image on Transotype perfect coloring paper, which is my preferred paper to color with my Copic markers. And then next up I am coloring this image in. As usual, I had no clue what I was going to do with this panel later on, but first things first, let's color. You know me, I prefer clean and simple cards, and one way to create clean and simple cards for me is to reuse color combinations. So in this case, I'm using the same yellow on the dress as on her crown here, which is so adorable. I'm going to leave the heart white on the crown, and I will add later on a bit of details on top, but it will be a really simple card, I promise. So I'm just making sure that I'm blending from my darkest marker towards my lightest. That's how I work, but as I always say, you do you. If you prefer first adding one layer of that lightest marker, which is something that is done quite often, you do that. It is all up to you what you prefer, but for me this works the best. Also, I most of the time need two layers. It also depends on how thick you're putting your layers, how far the markers are apart from each other, the paper that you're using. It can all depend, and it can be that you usually add 4 layers. For me, most of the time 2 is enough, and if you are heavily colorist, then I might guess that 1 layer can work perfectly as well. So for the hair here, as I tend to do lately since I have my little girl with dark brown hair, I tend to color all things girls with brown hair. You never know that I might use this card for my daughter, and I think it's a really fun thing about images that are people, that you can actually customize it for the person that you are going to give it to. So in this case, maybe my little girl, maybe not, but there are more than just her people that have brown hair. So it will be just fine. So I'm coloring the hair using E59, 57 and E33. I also most of the time use the same markers for the shoes. I tend to just color shoes brown. Why? No idea. It's just easy, I think, reusing that color. Then for the bunnies, I also wanted to keep it with the warm colors, so I used the E49 to just give it a wash of, well, just a slight shadow, you know, and then I decided to have this one bunny with dots, and the other bunny will get a darker color as well, but from time to time I just don't know where I'm going with it, so I had to start somewhere, you know. The other bunny is going to have the same markers as I used for the dots on that one bunny, but it will be overall a complete brown bunny without dots. Or spots. Spots might be a better word. Next up, I'm doing the skin. I'm also using this E13 to just add those tiny details to the bunnies. And I am also again trying to add the shadows here on the right side, as I did on the dress, on the crown as well, and I also try to do it on the bunny. From time to time I succeed at adding the shadows on the same side or having a logical way of shadowing, which is not a necessity, and I don't do that all the time either. Sometimes it's just about having fun and just doing what feels right. If you want to add like something that I tend to do often actually is adding the shadows there where you have the back of, for example, the bunny that she's holding. Normally I would like add shadowing on the left side and then have the face like with a light source on it. The other bunny would have the shadowing on the right side, and then the girl would have the shadowing on both sides and have the center to be really bright. But with the dress, it was just a bit easier to have it on one side and work my way towards my lightest marker towards the other area. So here I'm adding some blues. Normally I tend to also color birds yellow, but in this case I had already so many yellows that I ended up using blues, and then I decided to add blue to all of the other details as well, to the flowers, to the hearts, and just have some fun with that. A white jelly roll pen, really handy as well to just add those details to the eyes. For example, Rachelle most of the time adds like this white dots on the eyes to just have it glistening. Most of the time when I color, I go over it and then that white detail is gone. So I tend to use my white jelly roll pen to help me get back to that. I'm going to use the All Occasion Scripted Greetings by My Favorite Things to create a birthday card. I'm also using the Sweet Feline by Mama Elephant here, and actually something that happened is that the scenery that Rachelle added was a bit too white for this Sweet Feline, so I'm just going to fix that. I'm using my white jelly roll pen to get rid of those black tiny areas that are going over the stitching details here. It's not something that is needed, but you can do that, so I did it. But whenever I use digital stamps, I tend to use Word as the program to add it. And then I add like an A2 sized rectangle on top to see whether the image is going to fit. Now in this case, since I am using a smaller die, of course, I didn't take that into account because I never know what I'm going to use for my panel, for my card, and it's just coming to me while I am crafting. So in this case I did not know that I was going to use Sweet Feline, and I didn't take into account that it was smaller. But you can fix it by just using that white jelly roll pen detail, or just leave it. It is not like it's something that you have to do when you have stitching details, that it cannot go over it. Just for me, I needed to get rid of those tiny things that were overlapping. Now for the grounding, I'm just scribbling a bit of greens here. I don't want it to be neat and perfectly just right at the bottom. I just want it to be whimsical, as the images are always by Rachelle as well. I'm folding my card base here. It's an A2 sized card base, and just good to go behind the panel at the sides. I have 2 slivers that I need to fill up. So I went to my favorite pattern paper, the Petite Gingham by My Favorite Things, unfortunately discontinued. But in case you have another Petite Gingham kind of paper pad, let me know, because I am just addicted to it. But really small gingham. I have larger ones by Honeybee Stamps, gorgeous as well. But I find this size of the Petite Gingham really elegant because it's this small, and I love the fact that you have like every rainbow color imaginable with this pattern paper. I need it to come back. So in case you know someone at My Favorite Things, let them know that we need this paper pad back. So I just had this leftover piece that I just keep in the back of my pocket, and I'm just trimming it in half actually to have my 2 slivers. I'm snipping off the excess here, and then I can add my panel. If you can add it with some dimension. Of course, I'm too lazy for that, so I'm just using my adhesive roller, and I'm going to try to center it on my panel here, well, on my card base. And then as a tiny small detail, I'm adding actually some NUVO drops to the heart. So it will have a bit of dimension, like a diamond that is sticking out of it. It's just white, but I think it's a really cool detail. Since the heart is this small, I'm just using my craft knife here to get that NUVO drop everywhere and inside of the image. And that is my card for today. Really simple but so adorable. Of course the image helps. I hope that this card is something that you like and that can inspire you to maybe start creating a birthday card, maybe using this adorable bunny princess digital stamp. Well, we'll see. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I truly appreciate it, and I wish you all an incredible day. Bye!